You struggling with the ASVAB?
That ASVAB kicking your butt.
You don't know how to pass the ASVAB, huh? Watch this video. It's jam-packed with tools to help you pass the ASVAB, no matter which branch you're trying to join. Alright, so this video isn't me studying with you all. This is me giving you studying tips that you can use to bump those scores up so you can pass the ASVAB. Also, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys some links for you to take some practice ASVAB tests. That way you can kind of get a gauge on where you're at. Alright, so first things first, what kind of study material can you use to start prepping for the ASVAB? When I used to recruit, my applicants used to always tell me that the ASVAB for Dummies was one of the best books out there. I used to hate the title because when you're talking to someone who can't pass the ASVAB and you recommend the ASVAB for Dummies, I feel like it's a little insensitive, it's a little rude, but from what everybody says, the ASVAB for Dummies is pretty straightforward and it's really easy to understand. You also have the caplet. The caplet, I've heard, is pretty good, but it's written like at a higher level, like a collegiate level almost. So it uses a lot of language. It's kind of hard to understand for some people, especially people struggling to pass the ASVAB. So I always recommended the ASVAB for Dummies. But I put both of the links in the description box below. Do it! You can also study right online for free. If you're more like a visual learner, if you need somebody to explain stuff to you, there's a website called Khan Academy, and you can go in there and search for ASVAB study material. One of the things I used to tell my applicants on how to prepare, and there's no science behind this, but I used to tell them to focus on the math. And the reason why I used to say this, you've been taught these fundamentals before, you've been taught these formulas before, you just might not have seen them in a long time, so you kind of forgot them. Whereas the word knowledge stuff, some of those words you've never seen before. So it'll be a lot harder for you to learn those new words versus remembering how to do these formulas for math. So I used to tell people to focus on that because you can see an instant boost in your scores just by focusing on math. All right, so when you're done practicing and you feel like you're ready to go take the practice test, I got a bunch of different links that you guys can use.
We talking about practice.
Now keep in mind that none of these tests are the real ASVAB tests. These are just practice tests. So if you think you can just memorize these tests or you can cheat on these tests and you're gonna do well on the real ASVAB, then you're cheating yourself. This stuff is just to kind of gauge all the information you just studied to see if you retain the information and if you can pass a real ASVAB. All right, so if you want just like a real short test, there's a test that I used to give when I was out in Iowa. It's actually from the Iowa National Guard. It's really short. I believe it's about 48 questions long. You can go in there and it'll give you a real good assessment of how well you'll do on the ASVAB. All right, so the next link I'm gonna give you, those are a little bit more in depth, but I really like them because they try to mirror the actual ASVAB. And what I mean by that is that they have all the sections that you're gonna see on the real ASVAB on these links. All right, so when you're done studying and you're done taking the practice ASVAB test online, the next step for you is to go see your recruiter. Now they can schedule you for two different types of ASVAB. They can schedule you for the real ASVAB that you go take at the MEP Center, or they can schedule you for a PICAT test. And a PICAT test is something that you can take online in your house. The thing about the PICAT test is it can be used as a practice test for you and your recruiter to kind of see where you're at, and it can also be used as a real ASVAB for you. But there is a little catch to it. When you take that PICAT test at home and you get a good score, let's say you get like a 75 or something, right? Your recruiter's gonna be like, wow, let's send you up to MEPS to take the physical. When you get to MEPS, they're gonna do a verification test. It's just making sure you didn't cheat, no test compromise or anything like that. So if you rock the verification test out, then that PICAT score that you scored is gonna be your ASVAB score. If while taking that verification test, things don't line up, it's gonna automatically roll you right into the full ASVAB, and you gotta take the full ASVAB right there on the spot. Some of you are fortunate enough to have a school that administers the ASVAB. So if your school has an ASVAB, that ASVAB score is legit. You just talk to your recruiter, say, hey, I took the test at school, this was my score. I know some of you don't even know what a good ASVAB score is. So the video on the screen right now is gonna tell you what a good ASVAB score is for the Air Force if you're thinking about joining the Air Force. Like I always say, I hope this video brought value to you. Stay beautiful, stay classy, and until next time, check me out.